Hey, what's happening, folks? It is Sunday, the 2nd of May already. Going by quick, guys. So we're going to talk about tonight's NBA DFS slate. This is going to be a members-only type of video. We'll do this one free to the public because it's Sunday. If you can slide your finger over to the thumbs up button, that is always appreciated. And I wanted to announce that we will continue up with the $25 gets you the rest of the NBA season. It's the NBA-only package, gets you the rest of the regular season, but more importantly, gets the playoffs. Again, just like yesterday, it's time for me to toot my own horn. Multiple GP. I mean, I'm a one entry kind of guy in the playoffs, maybe a 3 entry max tops, but multiple GPP wins in 3 straight years for the NBA playoffs. It's one of my favorite spots to take advantage of the public as far as NBA DFS goes. $25 one-time payment that will get you the rest of the NBA season. The PayPal and Venmo addresses are below. It's not up on the website, so you'll have to use one of those. All right. All that being said, guys, let's talk about today's slate. It's NBA. It's early. We'll run through it quick because there's not a lot to talk about. You can't get into too much detail, I guess is a better way to phrase it, until we find out about the mass varieties of sits that we're going to get throughout the day. As far as Boston goes, we've got two teams here that need wins in Portland and Boston. I kind of expect this one to be a good game. Looks like Kemba is unlikely to. I think, Marcus Smart is the most reliable guy from this team. Jaylen Brown and Tatum kind of take turns being the man that day. Smart is just kind of ho-hum, comes out every day, does his job. Not a lot of upside, not a lot of risk. If you like him, do your thing. No need to have to go here. But if he's your last guard spot, you can be okay with it. Tatum was brilliant last game. Brown was brilliant the games before. Whose turn is it today? I have absolutely no idea. They're both in play in a plus matchup against Portland. I don't think either is a must. And early in the day, it doesn't look like either of them is getting an abundance of DFS attention. Brown's big games, they both came without Tatum in the lineup. Tatum was brilliant last time out. Play either of them, play neither of them. I can actually, you know what? I take it back. One of these games that Tatum and Brown were both really, really good. So I like them both, but I don't necessarily view either of them as a priority. However, if you're telling me early in the day, Julius Randle at more money is getting more attention than Jason Tatum, give me Tatum and GPPs all day long. And Bob Williams, DFS stud. He's been back for 2 games now. He got his minutes ramped up from 17 to 23 last time out. Prior to the injury, he was really only playing, mid-20s per minutes anyway. He looks like he's getting a little popularity today. He's a fine play. I don't think he's a must or anything like that, but a fine play. From the Portland side of things, there's only one guy I'm really interested in, Jusuf Nurkic. Talked about him last time out. He was all right. Lost more run at the end of the game as it was another blowout. You saw him playing 29 minutes per against Memphis. He was really good in each of these. He lost run against Memphis' Indiana as Portland won 3 straight games by blowouts. I think he's likely to play about minutes today, assuming this game is competitive. I think he's in play at a relatively low ownership. Not a must or anything like that. All right, next up, Miami and Charlotte. So we know Tyler Hero is out, which makes Nunn and Dragic okay plays. Far from must. I don't know if I want to eat a point guard position with them, but they're, both in play. And then the one guy that kind of makes my long shot category most days is Trevor Ariza. Now, really wasn't expecting him to play as well when he came back as he has been. But you can just look through his game log. He's got a lot of games that aren't great. He's also got 5 of his last 9 where he's offered some version of GPP value. So he's a little bit of a boomer bust guy these days. So I'm a little interested. Only played 24 minutes last night. Nothing like that. He can't go out again today. No Tyler Hero, so there's extra wing minutes that are going to be open. It's potential that Miami could rest another guy in this game. So look for that. I think Ariza makes kind of that boom bust category. And then as far as Charlotte goes, look, I can't really speak on them. I'm not usually super interested in playing guys against Miami. But we had Graham who was out yesterday. We got Ball back and Monk back. Not a lot I'm super interested in right here. We'll see if they rest some guys and that changes. Next up, Dallas against Sacramento. So Luka was fantastic for us and most people last night. It's not possible to say he doesn't play today. So I would keep your eyes peeled on Dallas. Luka has struggled in some back-to-backs this year. So if you're looking for a reason to fade him in GPPs, that could be it. All that being said, he was awesome last night. He looked awesome. He was in control of this game despite the fluctuation in the points throughout. Easy triple double. Expect him to be wildly popular today if he is in, and that gives us Porzingis is questionable. I don't know who's going to be in and out for Dallas. A guy that you could look at if Porzingis is up, Willie Cauley-Stein, playing his old mates, played 27 minutes last night, came off the bench, which could cut into his ownership. He's had plenty of solid games lately at the minimum price right here. He's a guy that if Porzingis is out, I'm interested because we all know the Sacramento Kings are a plus matchup. Finney Smith had a really nice game yesterday. He played huge minutes. So he could replicate that. My other thoughts were maybe like a Josh Richardson, who did not play big minutes last night. He lost a bunch of run yesterday for some reason. Not 100% sure why that was. He's a guy that could play some more minutes today at relatively low ownership, I would assume. So watch for Dallas to get funky with it today, potentially. Hard-fought back-to-back game last night. As far as the Kings go, Dallas is generally considered a below-average matchup, so I don't think Halliburton's a terrible play. I probably wouldn't end there. Harrison Barnes is likely out in today. We got Bagley back last time out. He played a total of 21 minutes. He's capable of giving you upside at this price, probably itching to get out there after a month and a half out. The guy that I'd be most likely to roster, especially if Porzingis is out again, though, would be Richaun Holmes. At what I can only assume would be low ownership, played 31 minutes last game. That's big. It's only his fourth game back from being out for a little while, 2 weeks or so. But he played 31 minutes. He was really, really good. I like Richaun Holmes. He is far from a must, but he's another center that I would imagine comes in with very, very low ownership today. So taking a look at the New York guys. Also worth noting, New York plays tomorrow. And Houston is all types of terrible. It's projecting Randall to be relatively popular on the slate. I mean, Houston, I know Houston beat my Bucks, so I shouldn't be one talking smack right now, but they're bad. I mean, they're really, really bad. I think you guys all know that. So my worry would be like New York rolls, and even though Thibs, let's face it, he gives this guy their minutes. If they're really, really rolling, Randall could play 36 as opposed to 40, which could be enough to talk you out of him. It could be enough to take a look at a Jason Tatum. He's also expensive, so I think he's far from a must in this game. In fact, I don't really like the New York guys. I don't trust this game to be competitive. If you want to take a shot on it quickly, I can get on board with that. That's one I could definitely get on board. Shooting guard eligibility. I feel like he hasn't been used in a while. Alfred Payton would be like a deep sleeper. I've called him out as a deep sleeper a few times this year. He's had a couple of his big games like that. He's really, really cheap here at 3,300, so he has a lot lower risk. I could see either of these guys. I'm more likely to take a shot on somebody like that than I am to get over to say, a Julius Randle, who I love Julius Randle. I just don't love him in this game. Alec Burks doesn't play very consistent minutes, but very capable of upside against a terrible Houston team. As far as the Houston guys go, you got a bunch of guys questionable. I'm not really looking to play guys against New York. They're god-awful. Don't trust them at all. All right, Philadelphia against San Antonio. So Philly has been knocking people out left and right lately. Haven't played a competitive game in a while. You can see Embiid's prices are – his price is fair. His scores have been down recently because he hasn't played a competitive game in a while. They have really monitored his minutes. Probably not looking to get here today, but I don't think he'll get a lot of love. I think the guy that I'd be more interested in, especially within the GPP realm, would be Dwight Howard. I mean, this guy still puts up DFS points in a hurry. Look at some of these recent scores. He has been balling when given the opportunity. This guy's got a 40-point game in 17 minutes, a 27-point game in 15 minutes, 35 and 25. I don't think he gets any ownership today. So I think it's like a risky GPP play, and obviously he's not going to replicate those kind of scores very consistently. But I also don't think he gets a lot of attention today. San Antonio, difficult to speak on. We got no Derek White, and Murray is firmly questionable. This is a team that needs wins. So might get some Lonnie Walker and some Patty Mills in your life. Walker has played well, very, very well lately. And if Murray happens to miss this game, I would be very interested because they're going to need to get their offense from somebody who's not just DeMar DeRozan, who will probably be blanketed with Ben Simmons' defense all day long. So like a Patty Mills and a Lonnie Walker could be a little bit intriguing. Well, Vassell got the start the other day, but I can't really imagine getting to him even at the minimum. Philly's a tough matchup, so it's not like we're dying to get here anyway. Maybe like a Keldon Johnson. He's very, very affordable, especially if Murray happens to be out. So, come on, DK. Oh, no, this is Google Chrome this time. Give me 1 second, guys, until Google Chrome, who is not responding currently, gets back rolling. All right, here we go. So, again, not a great game, but also, if you want to shoot your shot with like a Korkmaz or a Seth Curry, they're all okay. You know what I mean? Like, it's hard. They're a pretty healthy team right now, so it's not a team that like you're lining up to get to. So the Phoenix guys are getting some attention today. Booker and Paul. This is not a game that I'm specifically loading up on. Like, how bad are the Thunder? I mean, they are just god awful. And I want to double check. No, Phoenix doesn't play tomorrow. So if you're looking for a reason to talk yourself into like Booker or Paul, I get it. We saw Sabonis absolutely smash last night. They ran them a lot further into that game than you would have been expecting them to. I know Ayton's another guy projected to get decent love at the center spot today. Like, look, man, like, I just don't trust this game to be competitive for very long. Phoenix plays their guys, but they take them out of games when it gets a little bit lopsided. I'm not that interested. Oklahoma City Thunder is all kinds of terrible, but if they play too well, no way they keep up with them. I would be more interested in like GPP sleepers like a Frank Kaminsky, Saric, Torrey Craig, who is not a great DFS player, but we got no Jay Crowder today. Cam Johnson could potentially be out. Bridges would be a guy. I'd rather shoot my shot at a very low-owned Bridges in GPPs, who's coming off 3 straight monster games, than try to run to a relatively chalky CP3 or Devin Booker, who are very unlikely to even be out there in the fourth quarter. Torrey Craig, not a great DFS player, but he's had some nice games lately. Cameron Payne is questionable. Well, if Cameron Payne's out, then I get more interested in some of these other like scrubby players. As far as OKC goes, look, man, I don't know what they're doing. Shai is actually questionable today. I don't know. This could change a whole bunch of things. Who knows what to expect out of this team? Ty Jerome was a guy who got a little attention yesterday for projections and then didn't play. This is why I rarely use Thunder players. And Ty Jerome was a guy I mentioned yesterday, so they're on my bad side. Not that interested in anybody from the Thunder, and Phoenix is a tough matchup. Let's move over to Toronto. Currently listing everybody is healthy with the exception of Gary Trent Jr., who is very unlikely to play today, and Boucher, who's been out for a while now. Do you know who I've brought up like 3 slates in a row and who's been awesome? And I could actually get back today is Kem Birch, playing big minutes, GPP value in 4 straight. Now, the Lakers are a tough matchup. They got a bunch of guys that are questionable. The more Lakers that are out, the better. There's no reason to wimp out on Birch's minutes. He played a back-to-back against Brooklyn just a few days ago, played 32 minutes in that game. He's still only 5K. There's no Boucher, so he's playing big minutes. They literally look like they're trying to tank. So Baines hasn't even been in the rotation in 3 weeks now, which I just want to double check. Also, Malachi Flynn. There's a good chance maybe we like Van Vliet's out today, and Malachi Flynn continues to give you good DFS points. Doesn't look like these guys are getting a lot of love. They were both in the write-up last night, and they were both really, really good. So I could potentially have some interest right here. We'll see what the Lakers do. The Lakers are hard to speak on. You got Caldwell Pope, Caruso, Braun, and Kuzma, who are all questionable. Davis is probable and probably going to play. We called him out as a long shot the other day. Hopefully somebody used him over Kyrie as he was better. He continues to play better, and I think he's in play today at a guy who probably won't get a lot of love again. So the Lakers might have a bunch of guys in play. They might have nobody in play. They got like 5 questionable guys right now. And classic NBA fashion, I'm sure we won't find out anytime in the directly near future. Oh, now Jaylen Brown's questionable. Man, like, if Brown's out, Tatum lock, and he'll be uber chalk in this matchup. I guess the best point for fading Tatum would be Portland's all of a sudden hot. And if Brown's out, I mean, and there's no Kemba, Portland could roll on Boston, who's been erratic at best right now. So I would assume Tatum would be a lock. Also very, very popular. Fournier has been so awful since getting to Boston. This would be a great game for him to play well. But the only game where he gave you anything from a DFS perspective, he had 5 steals against OKC, who's terrible. He just looks lost on this team. So he might end up being chalk, I could see, if Brown was out. And then I could still he's been awful. We could be looking for a Peyton Pritchard sighting. I know he'll be coming off the bench, but you slide Smart down to a specifically shooting guard role. You run Peyton Pritchard as a point guard. All of a sudden, this becomes real enticing. I'm going to assume Jaylen Brown's not going to play. A downgraded questionable in the middle of the day like this, I think you're going to see Tatum chalk, but that's just my early day prognostication. We will see how things change. It is the NBA in 2021. A lot is probably likely to change throughout the rest of the day. So look for Dallas potentially to give you some kind of changes. Anyway, this will all be available in the write-up at the end of the day. If you want one, membership's available through the website. Otherwise, if you just want the NBA-only package, that is no longer up on the website, but you can get that by sending $25 via Venmo or PayPal at the address below, and we'll rock the rest of the regular season and the playoffs. Thank you, guys. Have a great day, and we will see you all tomorrow.